And we continue learning Hachzik Musar Yoimi, continuing this incredible Sha'ar HaBitachon with the Chovos Halevavos. We just finished proving how Hashem is the entity in which has all 7 qualities, and therefore one could have real bitachon, which the Chovos Halevavos translated as full, complete, absolute belief in only that one entity called HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Continues Rabbeinu Bachai on page 77. And someone who does not understand how the world works, he's going to think that that which happens causes the next event. Cause and effect. I do this, this happens, this happens, this happens. One would think that's the way the world works. And they transform from one state to the next. And what the Chovos Halevavos is bringing out is that my actions affect the next event. And the cause is too weak, too inconsequential, to cause the next stage on its own. Meaning, even though what I do can't really cause the next event to happen, but when you see see one little seed, one little kernel. When you plant it, what happens? Hundreds of stalks, 300 ears of grain grow. And within each ear of grain are 30 kernels. So what happens? One little garger, one little kernel is siba, is the impetus for what? Tens of thousands or close to it of wheat that could grow. Can it be? Can it be? Can anyone realize that the kernel is too weak? Meaning, does anyone say, hey, I planted one kernel and thousands of stalks grow? No one says that. All other things that are planted, one little bit causes so much more. And therefore says Rabbeinu Bachai, let's translate that. Similarly, the actions of man, and all beings come from where? One little drop of zera. And similarly, a fish comes from what? A tiny fish egg. And the Chovos Halevavos is showing us that even though a small action seemingly would be difficult to produce such a large effect, but we see throughout the world that this happens. So therefore, the Chovos Halevavos, is proving so too is with all the effects that what? It seems that my actions cause the next event. It seems it's all cause and effect, but in reality, of course, it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu causing it to happen. So now any other thought to make quicker that which Hashem is doing, and to make earlier that which Hashem made later, to make later that which Hashem deemed to be earlier, to do more when Hashem deemed less, to do less when Hashem deemed more, in the matters of the world, except where something is not working, we want to serve Hashem better, we want to learn more Torah, that's something we can take matters into our own hand. When we realize that we're not realizing the absolute truth of Hashem enough, and we don't understand the world. So when it comes to certain things, yes, take matters in your own hand. But he's trying to portray that in the greater scheme of things, it's almost ridiculous to fathom that we're going to change that which happens. And says Rabbeinu Bachai, the wise of all men has hinted this in Koheles, La kol zman vo'es, those famous words. There's a time for everything, a season for everything under the heavens, meaning everything has been preordained. Hashem has already set the clock, has already deemed everything, and we are doing nothing to effect that. Mentions 28 of these items. Time to give birth. Lamos, the time to die. And furthermore, Shlomo teaches us ufaga yikari es kulam. Time and fate happens to all of it. V'amar, and Shlomo concludes, Ki gavoyim al gavoya Hashem gavoyim aleihem. One who waits higher, above, and higher still awaits. And Hashem is awaiting, so He's showing us. You think you change things. I calls man. Who says Eis Laledes? Who says Eis Lamos? Nothing to do with me and you, but rather the all-controlling, the all-knowing entity that preordained and has already written the script, and concludes Chovos Halevavos, how ridiculous is to try to change the actions of Hashem, and even to try to think and comprehend that which Hashem is doing. The way that Hashem created Yisr Na'alamos Amukas Al Yonis Me'agil Yedias Echalkeim. So too, it's so hidden, it's so difficult, it's so deep. It's impossible to fathom each and every part of His creation. Kol Shekin Klalim, certainly when you try to look at the grand scheme in the whole world. Kvar Amar Hakasa says in Navi Yeshaya, Ki Gavu Shamayim Haaretz, as high as the heavens over the earth. So too are my ways, and my thoughts are so much higher. So we look at this crazy, vast world. Shem's thoughts and actions are that much larger. And with this, we slowly start to connect a little bit more to the ultimate bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu.